Hello, my fellow indie warriors. Tricky Tom here, and right off the bat, I know I'll never replace your real dad, Old Gamer Joe, but I hope you'll pull up a chair and stay a while nonetheless. Give this weird new guy a chance. What do you say? Let's unwrap a couple dozen indie and AA releases dropping for the week of May 18th through the 24th. Keep in mind, as always, this list does not include early access games. First up, just when you finally got the Macklemore song out of your head. If you've ever stumbled into a Goodwill and thought, boy, this place could use more Stardew Valley type optimism and coziness, then Thrifty Business is already way ahead of you. This management sim has you sorting trash from underappreciated treasures, befriending members of the community, and maximizing your profit margins with all the charm that this game's pixel art style implies. Thrifty Business hits the digital shelves for PC and macOS on May 18th. Not to paint with a broad brush, but I think it's safe to say that every man comes to a junction at some point in his life where he has to choose from one of three things to be like his entire personality for 5 years and be super annoying about: the Civil War, the Soviet Union, or the Navy. It's sort of like picking your starter Pokemon, only in this case Professor Oak is the History Channel. Enter modern naval warfare, which aims to nail those awesome hyper-realistic combat vibes, all from the CIC of a Virginia-class nuclear submarine. Because, real life is too chill these days. Expect tense and high-stakes maritime combat when this submarine simulator surfaces on PC May 18th. Here's one for you. A lone trick-or-treater dressed as a pirate knocks on a door one Halloween night. The lady opens up and says, "Wow, I love your pirate costume, but where are your buccaneers at?" Actually, you know what? Hold that thought. First things first, Corsairs Battle of the Caribbean keeps the nautical combat theme going with a lot more management elements. The Caribbean ends up being a surprisingly cool historical setting, with each different nation in the game fighting for different things and yet invariably coming to blows in service to their own self-interests. The game sees you building your fleet, managing your crews, and choosing whether to serve a crown or fly your own black flag. Anyway, going back, the woman says, "But where are your buccaneers at?" The boy in the pirate costume looks at her and says, "Under my buccan hat." You can keep that one. Corsairs Battle of the Caribbean drops sales May 18th for PC, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox Series X and S. Next up, we have Mike Goes on Hike, which is what happens when you stumble into a Goodwill and think to yourself, wow, I really wish I was taking in the wonders of nature right now instead of being in Goodwill. This gem looks to be a gooey s'more made up of pensive comfort, walking sim, and granola tourism. If you need a break from life because your dudes won't shut up about the Civil War or the Soviet Union, feel free to touch digital grass when Mike Goes on Hike sets off on May 18th for PC. Next up, Dwarf Eats Mountain. This is one of those games where I looked it up and thought, well, I didn't know what I was expecting. The title says it all. Control a legion of dwarves with their massive contraptions to literally eat away at the mountains in your way. Mine for gold, find buried artifacts, and forge your waist-high army into the ultimate mountain devouring machine. The mountains fall on PC and Linux May 18th. I have to admit, when I first read the name of this game, R-Type Dimensions 3, it felt like a real word salad of a name that didn't do much to clue me into what the game actually was. Looking at it now, this is one salad you may want to try out, my tortured metaphor notwithstanding. This punishing 2.5D side-scrolling shooter looks like a Super Nintendo game perfected and refined with care over the past 3 decades because, that's basically what it is. And that's a good thing. If you're a gamer who wants to come home, consider pulling up a chair here. Jump into the cockpit and earn your wings when this one takes off on PC, Switch 1 and 2, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S on May 18th. You know what gets a bad rap? Abandoned hospitals. Everyone thinks they're super scary just because monsters and murderers definitely live there. It Reaches will reinforce that dread. It's a first-person horror, but captured through the lens of a police body cam. Something is stalking you, resources are scarce, and you have a dark mystery to solve. And with all that, I'd still choose those things over my copay. It Reaches will find you on PC and PS5 on May 18th, with an Xbox release slated for later this year. And here's something I have not really seen before. Rune Dice is a strategic fantasy roguelike, but dice are at the center of the combat. Specifically, customizable magical dice, relics, and runes that you build on to improve your skills. Think D&D meets, I don't know, Vegas Craps or Liar's Dice. Rune Dice rolls onto PC, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox Series X and S on May 19th. And here's the thing. Girls Dorm Managing an All-Girls Dormitory - that's the title, not a summary. Let's be honest, if this game is your bag, I'm sure you might have wishlisted it back at Here's a Thing. There's not much I can say that'll make you go, oh, now I get it. This hits PC on May 19th. And here's something I never thought I would see. A typing game with a little something on its mind. Pain, Pain, Go Away describes itself as a counseling-themed typing adventure. The story anchors itself around trauma. It's actually a cool concept. Words carry tremendous power, and this game puts them at the forefront. Bear in mind, it does look like you'll be typing out the English pronunciation of Japanese terms. So, hey, give it a go if you've been wanting to brush up your skills on the language just enough to unsettle someone on your next trip to Japan. Pain, Pain, Go Away hits PC and macOS May 19th. Dane Cook once said that the greatest thing all men want is to be part of a heist. And you know what? He was right. Ask any random guy right now, hey, who's in your Ocean's 11 crew? And he will rattle off names, roles, plans, safe houses, things that go wrong without missing a beat. Thick as Thieves wants to take your free time off your hands and live that dream, solo or with a friend. To paint a picture, I get Thief with a dash of Dishonored vibes. This one sneaks up on you on May 20th for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. I don't get to use this descriptor as much as I'd like, but Phonopolis looks charming, with a heck of a lot of creative intent and passion and love behind it. It's hand-drawn, specifically cardboard, and story-focused. You play as a simple man trying to make his way through a dystopian society, something we can all relate to, right? Anyway, I actually added this little gem to my wish list just now, so I got good hopes on this one. Look for Phonopolis when it comes to PC May 20th. If you're not familiar with the history of Disco Elysium, specifically the aftermath and fallout at the studio, then do yourself a favor and go down that rabbit hole one afternoon. It is a tragic mess. Long story short, there are a good handful of games coming down the pipeline that claim to be the true successor to that. This one's name is Zero Parades for Dead Spies, a noir-infused spycraft tale with all the staples, branching dialogue, RPG choices, and a beautiful artistic identity where each frame is a painting. And hey, if your starter Pokemon that I mentioned earlier was the Soviet Union, this game should scratch that Cold War era espionage itch. This one's ready for you May 21st for PC with the PlayStation 5 release slated for later this year. Looking at this next game, I think it's fair to say if you took a smidgen of Event Horizon, folded it in with a dollop of BioShock, sprinkled in a little bit of Dead Space for taste, and then gave it to Hayao Miyazaki and asked him to have a nightmare, Luna Abyss may be close to what you would get. It looks cool, that's for sure, with some striking visuals that'll stick with you. You'll explore it all through the eyes of Fox, an incarcerated prisoner on a sentient moon caught up in some good old prophecy shenanigans. You know, typical prison stuff. This narrative-heavy bullet hell is coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S on May 21st. Next up, Gallipoli. This is a game for those of us who have ever stumbled into a Goodwill and thought, ah man, I'm not in Goodwill, I'm actually on the Ottoman front in the middle of World War I. We've all been through puberty, nothing to be ashamed of. If Call of Duty is too, Call of Duty for you, then Gallipoli might be a historical breath of fresh air, trying to accurately capture the grueling horrors of war. Look for Gallipoli on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S starting May 21st. If you've really never had the pleasure of playing the first Coffee Talk, I totally recommend it for any of you who appreciate a good character-centric night in. It is the quintessential lo-fi chill game after all. Coffee Talk Tokyo brings things to, that tiny town that we all know and love for its 7-Elevens. Make coffee, chat with the regulars, from humans to fantasy races, soak in their stories, and put your real-life troubles on the back burner for a good few hours. Coffee Talk Tokyo serves up for PC, Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles May 21st. Schrodinger's Cat Burglar is, no doubt, a game for folks who think explaining quantum physics is a party trick. Look, Zane, it's not. Just learn to play guitar. Anywho, play as a cat who can exist in multiple states at once, solve puzzles, sneak past guards, cause mischief, just cat stuff. Do it all by yourself or with a buddy who also loves Portal and cats. This one gets coughed up on May 21st for PC. Turn-based action, giant mech customization, a colorful cast, and a futuristic desert planet. STARBITES aims to deliver all that in one vibrant package. Scavenge for parts, upgrade your rig, and survive the wastes. Sure sounds like my gap year. Dig up STARBITES on PC, PS5, Switch, and Switch 2 starting May 21st. Side note, I think I really bit off more than I could chew when I decided to give a somewhat custom tag to each one of these games. If it's true that every guy wants to do an Ocean's 11 style heist, then it's also true that every friend group has a person they'd steal from. The House Always Wins caters to those of us who have gotten drunk with friends, had an airtight idea, and said, "We should run our own casino. It's an infinite money hack." Spoiler alert, it is. You should do it for real. Look out for high rollers, rogue geese invasions, alien invasions, and whatever else. Go all in when this one hits PC on May 21st. Show of hands. How many of us had that one bizarre, weird game that our older sibling or cousin or parent played on the family computer when we were like 5? We have no idea what it was called or even what it was about, only that it was mysteriously intriguing and made us feel that cool kind of odd. I'm gonna put money down on Burden Street Station being that game for the current batch of 5-year-olds. It's a surreal cosmic opera with an early 90s aesthetic. In this narrative-heavy journey, God has gone missing, and you need to find out the where and how of it all. I never thought I'd say this, but find God when this game comes out on May 21st for PC. Don't call it a comeback, Bubsy is getting another bite at the apple. Formerly a wisecracking darling of the retro 2D space, 1996's Bubsy 3D tarnished that poor Bobcat's image, going down as one of the worst 3D platformers ever. Bubsy 4D knows the score and is going to run, jump, dip, duck, dive, and dodge back into our hearts on May 22nd when it comes out for PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. Boy, nobody gets left out. Sometimes it's nice to wake up in the morning and know that insanity is alive and well. Enter Blood High, a boomer shooter where you are a vampire who's unfortunately and quite literally lost their head. Your ammo is your blood, ergo your HP, and you recover that HP by killing hordes of enemies. It's fast, it's gory, and it makes no apologies. Get ready for a bloody good time when this drops on. You know what, I can do better. Try not to lose your head when this hits PC on May 22nd. And lastly, the hero shooter genre may still be reeling from the catastrophe that was Concord, which was amazing to watch, but HoverGrease 2 still looks to have a lot going for it. It's a neon-drenched bio-cyberpunk vibe with twin-stick arcade shooter combat. Yeah, that's a lot of descriptors, but you gotta admit, it looks and sounds pretty fun. Plus, unlike a lot of other hero shooters, this one has a dedicated story mode in addition to the 5v5 online multiplayer mode. And look, I'm pretty tapped out in regards to these tags, so please forgive me. Hover on over to your PC when this one hits the grease on 5/22. That about does it for me. That's one Dream Drop officially in the can. Thank you so much for sticking around. I'm sure this feels like Blue's Clues after Steve left, but I hope we can build our own special kind of magic, just you and me. As always, feel free to grab a like on your way out, hit that subscribe button for luck, and consider perusing that Patreon stuff so we can keep giving a voice to the voiceless. I've been Tricky Tom, and you have been awesome.